told the caller in.
Good evening, everybody. Well done. Well done. Welcome to CWU Conference. It's because it's like getting a long week. It's day 5 of a 6-day conference. Delighted to be joined by National Officer Carl Maden. Evening, Carl.
Evening, Chris.
So, one of the things we said to you is we would bring you any sort of live updates on critical issues. We had to talk to a very important thing with Carl, which is the right to face-to-face appeals. Now, members, Carl, I don't know if you want to explain, what that means in terms of the history of it, what procedures it covers, and where we are, and the issue that's arisen with Royal Mail.
Yeah, so obviously during the coronavirus lockdown, we had national and government advice that people couldn't meet, and to keep everyone safe, and reluctantly we had to agree that it was a force majeure that virtual appeals would take place. Obviously, we've now come out of the lockdown restrictions and everything else, and Royal Mail have now actually served notice after us going through the disputes resolution procedure. They've served executive action on the fact that we will not now have face-to-face appeals within the localities, that if a member chooses to request a face-to-face appeal, that they will only take place in 16 sites around the whole of the UK. So, which, to be perfectly honest, is totally unacceptable. The date was originally the 9th of May. The DGSP, Terry Pullinger, intervened in that and got the date removed. But the reality is they're not moving to face-to-face appeals in people's locality. From that, we could have had members who would have been dismissed, summary dismissed, who may not be on pay. The amount of time that it's going to take people to travel to these sites. And if, the last thing you want is when you're up for your appeal, the last chance to save your job, that you might have to travel 5 or 6 hours.
It strikes me as like opportunism maybe as well on the back of the pandemic. But I suppose one of the key issues the members watching might be thinking is like, what are the union going to do about it? So what was the motion saying today?
Well, it was an emergency motion that stipulated that unless Royal Mail moved back to have appeals within localities, and no, that is within a locality. That doesn't necessarily mean the actual office that the person is in, that we will back them members. Any member that wants that, and if Royal Mail refuse that, we will back them by any means possible. And if the branch, want to take that to the nth degree, then the executive will obviously consider ballots.
What do you think in terms of how this fits into the overall sort of recent attitude shift of the business in a negative direction? Because actually, some of our members might have disabilities, might have real financial issues, mental health issues. Physical health issues. This is a real move from Royal Mail in sense of negative. And actually, there'll be lots of members watching this thinking, if I fall into that place, then there's going to be trouble for me.
Well, it is, and we believe it is potentially discriminatory because depending on what disability you have, it might be that you prefer to do face-to-face. It's also the actual practicalities. Many times our reps and members want to add information. And when you're doing that virtually, you've also got the issues around whether members have got the technology to be able to do the virtual appeals. Can they use the technology enabled to do it? We've had experiences in where the internet cuts out, and we've all done loads of Zoom meetings, and how frustrating it is when your internet connection goes. Imagine having that when you're in the middle of your appeal that's saving your job. Yeah. It'd be really difficult not to get frustrated and feel as if it's a fair process.
And I'm just thinking there, Carl, if we're speaking to the members now via new technology. We as a union embrace that. Of course we do. We try and make the best of it to engage with our members. And there are times when technology is useful, but surely in the situations you've just described where your job's on the line, it's really serious. Things like body language, things like the member being able to look across the table, those things do matter, don't they?
Look, part of the reason why we want to do face-to-face meetings is you want to see the whites of people's eyes. You want to see their reactions. And quite often we've had appeals managers that have said that people didn't seem to be sorry for the way that they'd acted once they've been dismissed. So that takes all of that out. But I do want to also say some of the appeals managers have even said about the difficulties that they have. You've also got the confidentiality. Yeah. You don't know who's there in either place. You know, what you're going to do if the postman or woman comes and wants to deliver a parcel? What, you're going to stop the appeal, get up onto the door and come back? How can that possibly be fair to our members?
No, it's not. I mean, finally then, just to show everyone watching, I suppose, what's the next steps in terms of you engaging the business, and how do we plan to keep the members up to date with this?
Look, we want to get an agreement that is within all of our agreements, because it's not just appeals in any one particular agreement, it's for all of them. And we have national agreements. You know, prior to COVID, we'd never done virtual appeals. We believe this is a drive to have people do virtual appeals, or in some cases, because of the length of distance that they might want to travel, they just won't bother with their appeals at all. We will keep people updated via our usual channels through yourself and your team, and we'll be going back, trying to get an agreement, and we will report back to the members.
Spot on, Carl. So thank you to Carl for his time, and another example there of the seriousness of the level of situations we're dealing with all of our employers. Carl, I'm sure, as he's committed to, will keep you up to date on this issue over appeals. Please speak to your local branch for more information. Take it easy, everyone.